You're divided. You're separate from the people that you've been called to be with. The people that you've been called to love and challenge and keep accountable, there's only 2 of you. And there's 2 others over there, and there's 2 others over there. And you're all running for Emmaus or somewhere. Thank God that Jesus never lets them get there. That they're met on a road, and stories are shared, and bread is broken, and broken hearts are hearts on fire. They never get to Emmaus. He turns them around. And what are the disciples told? Go to Jerusalem and wait. Because in Jerusalem, you need some help. You're going to need an advocate. You're going to need a comforter. You're going to need a Holy Spirit. And you got to go to Jerusalem, and there you'll get it. That doesn't mean that you go to Jerusalem to hunker down. It means you go to Jerusalem to get filled up. It doesn't mean you go to Jerusalem to buy a building or start an institution. You go to Jerusalem to give birth to a body. It's Pentecost. The birth not of a denomination, but of a body. You go there not to codify. You go there to multiply. You go there because you are dead and you need life. I think Billyson is right. You don't stay in that city. You're not there to get the key. You're there to get your maps and get going. But you can't do it when you're divided. You can't do it when the 2 of you have taken off. You got to go back. Do you remember that story? It's not in the Bible, though I wish it was. When Peter, it says, legend has it, was in prison and he managed to escape, and he got the hell out of Jerusalem. Maybe he was going to Emmaus. I don't know. But as Peter was running away, do you remember the story? He sees Jesus. And Jesus is carrying his cross. And he says to Jesus, Quo vadis, Domine? Where are you going? And Jesus points to Jerusalem. Well, I'm going back to be crucified. The Emmaus story does not want to take us to Emmaus, but to Jerusalem and beyond. Do you remember what happens in that Pentecost story? When they receive the Spirit and they're full of life and all of them can understand each other even though they're all different. And then they don't start to build churches. They share whatever they have. They share their food. They gather with teaching and with communion. It's the simplest image of the church, and we still can't make that work, but there it is. And something might have happened between Acts 2 and Acts 10. They might have started to get it wrong, but they got it right again, because they never get to Emmaus ever. In Luke 24, in Acts 2, in Acts 10, Jesus is constantly meeting them on the road to wherever they're going to run away and saying, that way. Are you ready to forget about Emmaus? Someone asks you when you get home, how's Emmaus? Say, I don't know, I never got there. Let me tell you about Pentecost. Because that's exciting. We used to live close to a community pool. And my wife was sitting at the deep end watching our kids swim, and a little girl came up beside my wife and she said, I'm going to dive into that water. And my wife said, well, that's exciting. And she said, yes. And my wife said, do you know how to swim? I said, oh, I just learned how to swim, but I've never dove into the deep end. And my wife said, wow. Are you scared? No, she said. I'm baptized. That's terrible theology. Getting water drenched doesn't make you bulletproof. I know that. But I like her theology. I'd like a little more of that theology. Are you scared? No. You're you have been and are going back to a place where you may love or hate, with people that you may enjoy or can't stand. You're going back to a place where you might know that you're supposed to be there, or you're not sure why you ever went there. But right now, you've been called there. Maybe because you wanted to be, maybe because you had to be, but no matter what, you were called there. To love, to challenge, to serve, to say to them every single time they meet as a congregation and as a presbytery, can we quit going to Emmaus? We got somewhere else to be. And then open up the Pentecost story and read it as many times as you need to, whatever it takes to get you to chapter 10, but do it. Last story. What my friend Mark Pippi. Grade 7. We were in an Olympic-sized swimming pool with Olympic-sized platforms, and we had Olympic-sized hopes. All the grade 7 boys, we all went running, and we jumped, and we ran up every single one of those stairs to get to the highest platform in the pool. And Mark and I elbowed our way to get to the front. And we ran to the end of the platform, and then we stopped. And it might have sounded like we were using language that was about prayer. It wasn't. And I said to Mark, I am scared. And he started to cry. He said, I am scared too, but we couldn't go back because the stairwell was filled with our friends. The ones that we had kicked and beaten and pushed away to get to the very front. And then they started yelling at us, jump, jump, you sissies, jump. And then I remember this one guy, David, he butted the line, pushed us aside, and flipped off the end. Oh. You're crazy. And then they started yelling, and it was turning into an awful scene. The lifeguards start looking up. There's a problem on the top platform. We gotta do something about it. And I said to Mark, I am scared. And he said to me, so am I. And then we jumped. Together. Get out of Emmaus. We got work to do.